So student, shall we move to our next topic? And next topic is Bhudan or Brahman. Bhudan in Hindi, if we make a meaning of this Bhudan, we can say भू मतलब भूमि, दान मतलब टू गिव, कि जमीन किसी को दान कर। एंड सेम ग्राम दान, ग्राम गांव एंड दान टू गिव, किसी को दान में देना। सो दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक भूदान ग्राम दान is an interesting topic, and this topic comes in a exam also, and it is a very short, you can say just like a story, but because it is an important topic, that's why we are including in this particular chapter that Bhudan or Gramdan started by Vinoba Bhave. And Vinoba Bhave was a very a person, or you can say personality who was very much inspired by गांधी जी, और उनको एक तरह से गांधी जी का एक स्पिरिचुअल आध्यात्मिक शिष्य भी कहा जाता है, बिकॉज विनोबा भावे जो गांधी जी के आइडियाज थे उनसे इंस्पायर थे, और उन आइडियाज को लेकर वो आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस भारत के गांव में घूमे। कौन से आइडिया? गांधी जी का जो ग्राम स्वराज का आइडिया था उसको लेकर। एंड वन इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग कि आचार्य विनोबा भावे ऑल्सो पार्टिसिपेट इन द सत्याग्रही मूवमेंट, एंड ही वॉज अ वेरी important सत्याग्रही इन अ लिस्ट ऑफ गांधी जी की जो सत्याग्रहियों की लिस्ट थी उसमें सबसे ऊपर नाम विनोबा भावे का, और गांधी जी के ही कॉन्सेप्ट को, ग्राम स्वराज को क्या कर रहे थे, आगे लीड कर रहे थे। एंड आफ्टर द डेथ ऑफ गांधी जी, आचार्य विनोबा भावे स्टार्टेड अ पद यात्रा। उन्होंने पैदल गांव-गांव जाने का निश्चय किया। क्यों निश्चय किया? ताकि वो वहां जाए और लोगों को गांधी जी के आइडिया क्या था, ग्राम स्वराज, उसके बारे में बताया। सो ऐसे ही एक इसी ग्राम यात्रा के अपने प्रोग्राम में ही यूज्ड टू विजिट इन साउथ इंडिया। साउथ इंडिया में आंध्र प्रदेश में, स्टेट आंध्र प्रदेश में एक जगह है छोटी सी, पोचमपल्ली। He was delivering a lecture at that particular place. वो अपना भाषण दे रहे थे, and some farmers just stand up in that particular meeting, और उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे पास में जमीन नहीं है और हम क्या करना चाहते हैं, खेती करना चाहते हैं, but we have no land. We all are landless farmer, though we want to do our agriculture. And someone is saying that government should give land to the farmers. तो आचार्य बोले कि when I go from here, जब मैं यहाँ से वापस जाऊंगा दिल्ली और वहाँ पे सरकार से बात करूंगा, कोशिश करूंगा, I will try कि भारत के हर किसान को, जो कि those who are landless farmer, उनको एटलीस्ट थोड़ी थोड़ी जमीन सरकार। पर सडनली क्या होता है कि उसी गांव के एक यू कैन से जमींदार और हेडमैन, जिनका नाम है श्री रामचंद्र रेड्डी, व्हाट ही डू, ही जस्ट स्टैंड अप ऑन हिज प्लेस, और उन्होंने क्या अनाउंस किया कि उनके पास में जो 80 एकड़ का लैंड है, 80 एकड़ की जो की अपनी जमीन है, वो क्या करते हैं, इन 80 फार्मर्स को दान में देते हैं। And the act of this Ramcharan Reddy is known as Bhudan, कि उन्होंने अपनी भूमि का क्या कर दिया, दान कर दिया। किसको? All the 80 landless farmers. और आफ्टर दैट एक तरह से मूवमेंट चल गया, बहुत सारे जगहों पर बहुत सारे जमींदारों ने क्या किया, अपनी अपनी जमीन को किसानों को दान देना शुरू कर दिया। एंड कहीं कहीं गांव में तो ऐसा हुआ कि जो जमींदार था जिसके पास में वो पूरे गांव की जमीन थी, उसने पूरी की पूरी जमीन, या कहना चाहिए पूरा गांव भी क्या कर दिया, दान दे दिया, जिससे कौन सा वर्ड आया, ग्रामदान. So these are the two words, Bhudan and Gramdan, which was related to this particular act of Acharya Vinoba Bhave. And ऐसा माना जाता है कि इस पर्टिकुलर आचार्य विनोबा भावे को के एक्ट को वी यूज टू कॉल इट न्यू टर्म ऑफ नेम दैट वाज कॉल्ड ब्लडलेस रेवोल्यूशन. एक ऐसी क्रांति, एक ऐसा चेंज जिसमें खून नहीं बहा. एंड दिस, इसका नाम ही आचार्य विनोबा भावे ने क्या रख दिया, ब्लडलेस रेवोल्यूशन, क्योंकि एक चेंज आया सोसाइटी में. बिफोर इंडिपेंडेंस जो जमींदार थे वो अपनी जमीन का 1 इंच भी किसी फार्मर्स को देना तो दूर देखने भी नहीं देते थे. दे जस्ट say that you have to do only the farming activities, you are not a owner of this land. और उसके बाद क्या चेंज आया, what is the change come after independence, that these all zamindars and landowners and landlords distribute their land. Either they give some piece of land or whole the land, but it is a very interesting thing that was Bhudan or Gramdan, a revolution or activity which was started by Acharya Vinoba. Now after that there is a topic, contribution of agriculture to the national economy, employment and output. I have not written here because this is not in your syllabus, page number 44. And then another topic, food security, which continue from 44 to 45. These two topics are not in your syllabus. So that's why I am not taking any lecture on this particular two topics, because they are deleted from your syllabus. So now we will start our next topic, that was impact of globalization on agriculture. Clear? So these two topics are not coming in our syllabus. They just exclude, उनको हटा दिया गया syllabus में से दोनों topic को इस chapter के. Now we come to next topic which was on page number 46, that was impact of globalization on agriculture. Globalization, a new word, new phenomena, but ऐसा नहीं कि आप लोगों ने इसको पढ़ा है. You already read it many times. Globalization, taking different things or active services from one country to another country. एक देश का दूसरे देश से जो कहना चाहिए ट्रेड है, not only the things but also services, that is called globalization. कि हम जो भी सामान दूसरे देशों से मंगाते हैं, हमारा सामान दूसरे देश में जा रहा है, हम दूसरे देश में जाके नौकरी करते हैं या दूसरे देश वाले हमारे यहाँ आके नौकरी करते हैं, that all are come on the term globalization. Now because we are reading about the agriculture, that's why we are reading in the word globalization in the scenario of agriculture. That what is the impact on agriculture due to these globalization. क्योंकि agriculture is also an ancient activity and trade is also an ancient activity. हमारे देश में व्यापार बहुत पहले से हो रहा है दूसरे देशों के साथ. ब्रिटिशर्स के आने से पहले से भी हम दूसरे देशों के साथ अपना क्या कर रहे थे, ट्रेड कर रहे थे. तो this trade is not a new phenomenon, but regarding the agriculture it is some, we can say, a new phenomenon. Clear? So we will read this globalization in agriculture. That is our globalization is good for agriculture or bad for agriculture. Now this phenomena of agriculture globalization in our country comes in the year of 1992, 91 to 92. Before 91-92, our government did not allow lots of British foreign companies to come and invest in our country or to do any trade. कि हमारे देश की सरकार ने क्या कर रखा था, बाहर के देशों के कंपनियों को या लोगों को आने के लिए एक तरह से रेस्ट्रिक्ट कर रखा था, रोक के रखा हुआ था। बट आफ्टर 1992 ड्यू टू लिबरलाइजेशन, गवर्नमेंट ने अपनी पॉलिसी जो थी वो क्या कर दी, इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी चेंज कर दी, एंड गवर्नमेंट अलाउड डिफरेंट multinational companies or different countries to come and do trade or investment in our country. Now there is a very stiff competition between the Indian produce and foreign produce, और उसका असर एग्रीकल्चर पर, वही हम इसमें क्या करेंगे टॉपिक में पढ़ेंगे। So globalization कब से चला आ रहा है according to a book, from the at the time of Britishers, that European trader come to India. Actually Britishers or European come to India only for a trade, but slowly what happened, that they become the ruler of our country. So trade is not a very new thing with other countries. India के मसाले all over world में famous थे. Farmers of southern India were encouraged to grow different type of these agriculture items so that they can export out of it. During the British period, at the time of colonization or British period, ज़्यादातर इंडिया से जो रॉ मटेरियल था वो क्या होता था, ब्रिटेन जाता था, और बदले में वहां से क्या आता था, finished good, especially cotton. Raw cotton is going to be from India, and finished textile or clothes come to the India. ब्रिटेन की जो दो इंडस्ट्रियल टाउन थे, मैनचेस्टर और लिवरपूल, they only developed only because of the cotton which was taken from India to the Britishers, by the Britishers. और ये सब हम ऑलरेडी पिछली क्लासेस में बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ चुके हैं कि इंडिया से वो कॉटन लेकर जाते थे और बदले में बने बनाए क्लॉथ लेकर इंडिया में बेचते थे, बिकॉज ऑलवेज रॉ थिंग इज चीप एंड द फिनिश्ड गुड्स आर वेरी आर ऑफ more cost. And at that time there was a movement started by the Gandhiji and the peasants that was called Satyagraha movement in 1970. Because at that time farmer did not interested in growing the indigo in their fields. Britishers compelling them to grow indigo because indigo is a very essential things to dye the cotton clothes. इसे हम हिंदी में नील कहते हैं, जो हम अपने कपड़ों में लगाते हैं ना, व्हाइट क्लोथ्स में. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिस चार बूंदों वाला, दैट उजाला, ऑल दैट इज इंडिगो. तो पहले इसकी हमारे देश में क्या होती थी, खेती. बट फार्मर्स ने नील की खेती करने से क्या कर दिया, मना कर दिया. बिकॉज वाई, because they wanted to grow the crops which they used to eat. क्योंकि हम नील तो खा नहीं सकते, we don't able to eat indigo. पेट भरने के लिए हमें क्या चाहिए, wheat and rice and pulses and vegetables. So farmer want to grow all these things in their fields. But Britishers क्या compel करते थे, to grow indigo, because indigo is a very essential thing in a textile industry. And these textile industries are located in Britain, and they just you can say especially remain unproductive if we are not growing indigo and cotton. So Britishers compel Indian farmers to grow indigo, and Indian farmers did not want to grow this indigo. Because by growing the indigo, the fertility of their soil just finished, and they are not able to grow the food products which are essential for their own life, which they use for their daily food. Vegetables, fruits, vegetables, then pulses, then wheat and rice, because they have not other source of income by which they can do all other activities which need for their own survival. So now for this particular thing, what they do, they start a movement. That was Champaran movement. It started in 1970. After that, Gandhiji joined this movement. So we can say that impact of globalization on our agriculture is not today or just some years ago. We have suffering in field of agriculture due to globalization from many years. At the time of Britishers also we are suffering because of globalization, especially the Indian farmers. Now what happened when this globalization come in full swing? Because after independence, after 1947 to some more years, government has started some restrictions. Foreign companies or foreign investors are not allowed to come to India to do the trade, because we are at in a developing conditions. We are not a developed after just independence. So government has put some restrictions. But after 1990, particularly in this after this year, government has changed their policies. Economic policy government ने क्या की अपनी बदल, and this change of policy is called liberalization. And due to this policy, now government has invited lots of foreign investors, foreign companies, foreign industrialist business houses to come and invest in our country. And when we these foreign company come to our country, they our Indian companies have to face a stiff competition with these foreign companies. And same situation come to farmers also, because in foreign companies not only consumer goods are not coming in our country, agriculture produce or agriculture goods are also coming to our country, because India is a very big market for that these companies. और मैंने आपको पहले भी कहा था कि in foreign countries farmers used to do agriculture for trade. हमारे यहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर करने के दो रीजन होते हैं, एक अपने खुद के लिए, एक बेचने के लिए. लेकिन इन फॉरेन कंट्रीज द पर्पस ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर फॉर देम इज टू जस्ट ओनली ट्रेड. क्लियर? सो दैट्स व्हाई it is very difficult for the farmers when this process of globalization started. Though we are producing very much amount of rice, wheat, sugar, coffee, tea, jute, all these things, but still we are not able to compete with the product of the other world companies. Why? Because in our country, 60% population is engaged in agriculture. If we compare this situation to the other countries of European countries, in their country, hardly population of 7 to 8% are doing agriculture activities, and their main aim is to commercialization, to sell the produce. And government is giving them very much help, which you can say that subsidy. The government is giving them a subsidy. By the subsidy, they can sell their produce in a very low value or very less amount. That the rate are lower than the Indian rates. So here farmer has to face a very much stiff competition with the produce. Now the new word subsidy. Subsidy is a term, or you can say a particular process in which government used to help the people. For example, if we take a farmer, then government are giving subsidy to the farmers, that any farm equipment which farmer used to buy, so what the government give them initiative, that half amount you will pay and half amount we will pay. For example, if a farmer used to buy in pesticide from a market and the value of that particular bag of pesticide is 1,000 rupees. So what the government is saying, that 500 you pay from yourself and 500 will be paid by the government. So the subsidy is of 500 rupees. सरकार ने क्या किया, उसके साथ की मदद. In foreign countries, already I told you, less population is engaged in agriculture, so foreign government give them lots of subsidy. But in our country, where 60 to 70% people are engaged in agriculture, so it is very impossible for the government to give such huge amount of subsidy. So the Indian government give the subsidy, but not as much as huge amount as the subsidy is given by the European. So this is a drawback for Indian agriculture. Here Indian agriculture has to face a stiff competition only because of these things. So to make agriculture successful and profitable, it is very essential that the condition of the farmer should be improved. इसमें एक स्टेप आगे फॉरवर्ड हुआ था आफ्टर ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन. But today we can say that the success of green revolution or the profit of green revolution is limited to the some pocket of our country. Only some state gain the successful story of this green revolution. Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. And in other states, farmers are not benefited by this particular revolution. So that's why green revolution success story is combined with controversies. And another controversy which related to this green revolution, though the production is improved, the amount of production of wheat and rice is just gone 3 to 4 times, but the quality of soil just have ruined. We have just finished the quality of soil. We use that soil in such an indiscriminate manner, in such a selfish manner, that the quality of soil is just finished. We are using it more and more insecticides, pesticides, putting lots of fertilizers, doing lots of irrigation to take more and more produce, जिससे कि हमारी जो मिट्टी थी वो बिल्कुल कम हो चुकी, सलाइन हो चुकी, because of the over use of these chemicals. हमारी जो नेचुरल बायोडाइवर्सिटी थी वो धीरे धीरे क्या होने लग गई, खत्म हो गई. तो आज एक नया वर्ड शुरू हुआ है एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में, दैट वाज जेन रेवोल्यूशन. जेन रेवोल्यूशन, दिस वर्ड इज रिलेटेड टू जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग. Genetic engineering or gen revolution, that agriculture scientists should develop such kind of seeds, ऐसे उनको बीज तैयार करने चाहिए जिसमें कम पानी चाहिए हो और कम फर्टिलाइजर्स में भी वो ज़्यादा प्रोड्यूस कर सके. That is called gen engineering of seeds, which is a new term you can see. So आज की जरूरत क्या है, what is the need of the hour, that now farmer or agriculture scientists should focus on this gen revolution to take the help of technology so that we can develop more and more seeds which are favorable to our climate and which are capable to use less water and less insecticide and pesticide and fertilizer. इसके अलावा दूसरा रास्ता हम क्या फॉलो कर सकते हैं, टू टेक अ स्टिफ कंपटीशन विद यूरोपियन फार्मर्स ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग, एक नया वर्ड आया है आजकल, ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग. Because in this particular farming we are not using any insecticide and pesticides and chemical fertilizers. We are using only natural manure. और इससे क्या फायदा हो रहा है कि हमारा एनवायरनमेंट भी खराब नहीं होता है, हमको प्रोडक्शन भी ज़्यादा मिल रहा है, सॉइल की जो फर्टिलिटी है वो भी इम्प्रूव हो रही है, एनवायरनमेंट भी इम्प्रूव हो रहा है, और जो फार्मर्स हैं उनको भी अच्छा पैसा मिल रहा है. तो अनदर थिंग विच वी कैन यूज टू हेल्प द फार्मर्स or to improve the condition of farmer, that was organic farming. By doing this farming we can improve the situation of our farmer. Economics एक नई चीज लेकर आए हैं. What they are saying कि now farmers should think about something different. Today the meaning of farming is not only to do the agriculture in a field. आज जब हम कई बार फेसबुक पे या यूट्यूब पे या पेपर में देखते हैं, वी कैन सी लॉट्स ऑफ स्टोरीज ऑफ फार्मर्स विच आर टेकिंग न्यू फॉर्म्स ऑफ फार्मिंग, न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी ऑफ फार्मिंग, एंड दे आर गेनिंग, दे आर taking more and more amount of money by doing that but new type of farming. That people are earning money by opening terrace garden on their terrace. There are lots of stories on this social media, you can read it. By that farmers are producing, taking more and more produce and getting more and more money. उसी के बारे में इकोनॉमिक्स की बात करते हैं कि जो हमारा पुराना मेथड था खेती का, उसको क्या करना चाहिए, छोड़कर नए तरीके अपनाने चाहिए खेती, सो दैट वी कैन एबल टू अर्न मोर प्रॉफिट. हमें भी अब वही फॉर्मूला या वही मोटो रखना पड़ेगा जो यूरोपियन कंट्रीज का है, दैट farming means to earn profit, to take more and more money. Clear? So again economics किस बात पर जोर देते हैं कि इंडियन फार्मर्स को अपनी क्रॉप्स को डाइवर्सिफाई करना चाहिए, एंड दे यूज टू ग्रो मोर एंड मोर सच टाइप ऑफ क्रॉप्स विच अर्न मोर एंड मोर मनी. ऐसी क्रॉप्स को ग्रो करना चाहिए जिससे कि पैसा ज्यादा मिले. इससे क्या होगा कि उनकी इनकम बढ़ेगी. When their income will be increased, they are capable to buy more and more food items, more and more day-to-day use things. और उससे क्या होगा कि एनवायरमेंट का जो डिग्रेडेशन हो गया है वो प्रॉब्लम भी धीरे धीरे क्या हो जाएगी, सॉल्व हो जाएगी. फार्मर्स को क्या करना चाहिए, फ्रूट्स, मेडिकल हर्ब्स, फ्लावर्स, वेजिटेबल, बायोडीजल, इस टाइप की फार्मिंग करनी चाहिए. Clear? They have to do such type of farming so that they can earn more and more money. Because in this type of farming we need less irrigation facility. So हमें अब क्या करना है, ट्रेडिशनल हमारे जो फार्मिंग, जो हमारा प्रोड्यूस था या क्रॉप्स थे, उसकी जगह हमें क्या करना है, मॉडर्न फार्मिंग टेक्निक्स के साथ साथ मॉडर्न फार्मिंग प्रोड्यूस वाली सीड्स को भी ग्रो करना है. अगेन वो आगे क्या कहते हैं कि बिकॉज इंडिया की क्लाइमेट कैसी है, डाइवर्स है. यू कैन सी एवरी टाइप ऑफ क्लाइमेट, यू कैन सी विंटर, you can see summer, you can see rainy season, all the climates are available in our country, so farmer can take wide range of high value crops. ऐसी क्रॉप्स ग्रो है जिसकी बाजार में वैल्यू बहुत ज्यादा है, so that they can earn money. By following these particular things, farmer can solve these problems. Now here is some interesting things. The last, that changing of crop pattern. इकोनॉमिक साइंटिस्ट और एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट का क्या कहना है कि फार्मर्स को अपना क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न क्या करना चाहिए, चेंज करना चाहिए. so that what will happen, India can produce high cost food and they can just sell it in a market. अगेन इसमें एग्जांपल इन्होंने लिया है इटली, इजराइल और चीन कि these countries have a very less field and in that particular small amount of holdings they are capable to earn more and more money only because of changing the crop pattern and sowing the seeds which are more money, which have earned more money. Clear? So these are the examples by which we can see if the farmers are not farmers are capable to do all these new techniques, taking up the help of this gen revolution, they can earn more and more profit by this particular agriculture activities. So we change our agriculture from primitive to modern agriculture. So chapter is finished. Just do all the exercises which you have given in this chapter. Multiple choice also you have to do. Then questions of 30 words and answers of 120 words. All you have to do in your copy. And the next live session, we will discuss all these question answers. And apart from these NCERT question, I am giving you some more worksheets. And you have to do that also, and we will discuss that particular worksheet also in next class.